Last year, the starters were third best in all of Major League Baseball. This year, they were 14th out of 15 teams in the American League, and there's your difference right there.
Obviously, that was the case, and didn't pitch as. I actually thought. I'll say it at the time, but they were so good last year in this ballpark. I mean, they had a 2.98 ERA from the second half on. Slow start, and then all of a sudden they went off, on fire. But this year it just looked like they couldn't get on track. Rick, you and I always talk about the fact that it all starts with your fastball command. Look at Kevin Gausman. You talked about it. All of a sudden, his fastball command becomes a little bit better, makes all his other pitches better. So hopefully they will be reminded of that in spring training. And, I think they could have been a lot better. It's tough to pitch in this ballpark, especially if you can't command down and away. Wei and Chen gives up a lot of home runs, but he doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. So when you do give up home runs, but they just didn't pitch as well as they could. And then you guys, Jim, you alluded to the fact that they went through that one stretch in August. I'd say it was 18 games where they were at 3-15, and in the 15 losses scored 3 runs or less. Other than that, it's one of those years where, again, the record on the road, we were just talking about it. When you're 34-50, it's just not the way as good as they played last year.
Jimmy, some of the things that really stuck out for me during the course of the season for the pitchers was how many hits we gave up in the 2-strike, no-ball situation. And overall, when you talk about, and Jim, you said something too, we were only 5 or 6 games out of it at the end, getting in a wild card space. I know that, when you lead the American League, or at least close to leading, if you're not leading, you're only 1 or 2 games back. Giving up those hits and those home runs in 2-strike and no-ball situations just shows maybe a lack of awareness of what's going on out there. But it costs the Orioles being in a playoff situation, because you've got to know how to pitch better in those situations. And I think in the future they've probably learned their lesson.
Well, the other thing, and I'm going to borrow your paper right here for Feeks, if this is the home plate and this is your baseball diamond, we can kind of concise the field by actually pitching with your fastball. Mm-hmm. So again, with 2 strikes, even if you put the ball in contact, which is all right, you can take, everybody's doing shifts now, you can actually take this huge field and you can kind of, pardon I'm just going to cut this right off here, Depper. I can make the field a lot smaller.
Right.
And, the other thing is, for the second straight year in a row, the Orioles have the best defense in the American League. Right. So, again, you want to pitch to contact. You want to do it on your terms. And, I think we might have got a little bit away from it. But, we'll see. I mean, every year is a different year. They take away the wins from last year. They had, as you mentioned, they were a very good pitching staff. The Angels and the Orioles had the most wins out of their starters. They weren't able to do that this year. So, it's just going to be a very interesting next month off season. And, it's funny. It's so easy to kind of talk about Chris Davis, but today, the first time up against Pineda, threw him a fastball up and in. He couldn't hit that ball to save his life. This year he hit it, and then he comes back with a couple of more home runs, and next thing you know, he's on his way to winning another home run title. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jim, always a pleasure. We appreciate you coming down. Enjoy your winter.
You guys
California,
do a great job.
Florida.
And,
We'll see you in Sarasota.
You guys. Okay.
All right. Or maybe at FanFest in December.
Oh,
How about
definitely.
that?